Hello, everybody, and welcome to our daily check-in. Today, since it's a little bit nicer, I decided to hang out in the backyard, try to get some fresh air, and we'll do some name fives. We'll also talk about our optimistic expression or quote for the day, and then I will talk to you about that memorable experience that I asked you about earlier on Teams. And I'm hoping after I tell you my story that you will be inspired to maybe tell me and the rest of the group some of your stories on Teams. So let's talk about some of the name fives, which are kind of fun. Can you name 5 characters from The Wizard of Oz? 5 characters from The Wizard of Oz. Can you also name 5 omelet fillings? Okay, 5 omelet fillings. Or can you think of food that only has 3 letters in it? 5 of them. That'd be kind of fun. How about movies featuring a teacher as a character? That might be kind of hard. Or how about a recipe that contains marshmallows? Hopefully you can think of 5. Maybe you can think of some more. Now, since I know so many of you love chewing gum in my class, how about 5 flavors of chewing gum? 5 flavors of chewing gum. 5 vegetables that are not green. 5 vegetables that are not green. Or since we're stuck at home a lot and you want to think about where you might go in the future, what might be 5 dream vacations? 5 dream vacations. And when you were there, what might be 5 summertime beverages you might drink on that vacation, assuming it isn't someplace warm? Now, this is an interesting one. If you can think about 5 pet peeves, 5 pet peeves. Like, for example, a pet peeve of mine in school is when people click their pens, tap their pencils, but also chewing with their mouths open. That is always something that drives me crazy. Now, can you name 5 words that end in the word way or 5 mountains? Now, usually in the summer, I like to go away at least for 1 week, with my family, and my daughters are always trying to get us to get them things to take home. So what might be 5 vacation souvenirs that you might bring back when you go away? Now, a couple more. Can you name 5 places to avoid? Now, obviously now there's so many different places that you can avoid because nobody is hanging out with anyone, really. Now, this one might be kind of hard. Can you name 5 rainforest animals? 5 rainforest animals. Or, how about this one? Can you name 5 optimistic sayings? 5 optimistic sayings. Because in a time like now, being optimistic is very important. So having those optimistic sayings is extremely important. Now, so here is the quote of the day from Mrs. Reed that she gave me in this container. It says, "Rise above the storm and you will find the sunshine." M. Fernandez. So obviously times are a little bit crazy now, and like each day we try to have you think positively and think of good things. So what I want you to think about are what are some positive, memorable moments that you've had in your life. Now, I said on Teams I would tell you one. So I'm going to explain briefly a story that was something that really stood out to me as something that will stick with me forever. So when I was very young, I remember watching the Yankees in the World Series in around 1980. And the Yankees had lost that World Series, and I remember how crushing it was. So in 1996, when the Yankees finally won another world championship, I remember being so ecstatic because I got to hang out with my father and watch the game when they clinched. And what made that thought of them winning the World Series even better was in 1998, I had the opportunity to go to my very first World Series game. So it was game 1. It was the New York Yankees against the San Diego Padres. And the Yankees were losing 5-2, and it was the bottom of the 7th inning. And we were so far up at this game, there was only 1 row between us and the back wall. And I remember when Chuck Knobloch, who was the Yankees' second baseman, hit a 3-run homer, the place was shaking so much that I swear I thought we were going to fall out of the stadium. And just when that was crazy and insane, Tino Martinez hit a grand slam in the same inning and gave the Yankees a 9-5 lead, and they would end up winning that game. And that was the only World Series game I ever had the opportunity to go to, but getting to actually see a World Series game was kind of like a highlight of my life. Now, I wouldn't, compare it to getting married or having kids, but it was something very special. And I got to experience that moment with my dad, which having those special times with family members is important. My own personal father is getting older now. He's in his 80s. So cherishing those memories has always been great. Now, speaking of that, my father and I had this opportunity. I don't know if you can kind of see in this picture. It's a little messy, but that is a picture of Don Larsen. And my father had given me the opportunity to meet him. And if you don't know who Don Larsen is, he is the only pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw a perfect game in a World Series. So meeting him was also a highlight. So a lot of my memorable moments have to do with baseball and the Yankees. But for different people, you have different things that are memorable. It could be a dancing event. It could be another sporting event, soccer, basketball. It could be a family occasion, a family vacation. Times like these, it's very important that you kind of think about the good things that have happened to you. We spend a lot of time thinking about the negative, but it's really important that we start thinking about the good times. Now, when we look back at this time, we'll be telling our kids these stories. My kids are living them, but you'll be telling your kids these stories. And it's going to be pretty neat. Assuming, obviously that everybody is safe and healthy, which I hope for all of you. Now, getting to some school news, starting on Monday, we will be having live instruction. So make sure you are going into the assigned times. I will also post them on my Teams page so you have them. And then just make sure you're checking in and you're doing what is required, which I know you guys will. I will say I've had some interesting times this past week or so. I've got to interact with some of you that maybe I didn't normally interact with as much. So I appreciate all the little messages that you're sending, and I appreciate the memes that you're making for social studies. Some of them are hilarious. But just know you can always reach out. And tomorrow we'll try something different. I'm always trying to think of something new. But so today's goal is to think of a memorable experience that you've had, or think about something you would like to experience when this is all said and done. Okay? You guys have a fantastic day. And I look forward to talking to you some more tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Peace out.